how important is a black man to his family? Father,
the biggest
husband.
thing you could ever have in your life next to God.
I'd second that.
Amen.
The biggest thing you could ever have in your life next to God.
But here's the issue. We have been diminished. We have been devalued. And it's not from our young men, our sons and grandsons. Unfortunately, society have just portrayed us in such a way until already we've battled to be in a position to be that example. So what I would say at this point, we need to.
Chef say I gotta kill this.
All right, Spider, we finna turn him up. We finna turn him up. We live? What is going on, man? Welcome back to another episode of Can I Be Real in the Building, man. I am your host, King Mozzie, the legendary man. Across the table from me, I got my brother with me. My co-host, my assistant pimp, Dion, the motivator is in the building, man.
You done called me a pimp with my father-in-law. Hey, but nah, we here though, man.
Yeah, man, we here, man.
So
we got a real special show today.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get a lot of good information,
bro. This finna be a good one, bro.
Yeah,
it's finna be a good one, bro.
It's gonna be a good one,
bro.
Man.
So yeah, before we get into it, so today, we're about to just have a powerful conversation, right? That everyone needs to hear. So today we're sitting here with three highly individual, successful elderly gentlemen who have navigated through all different paths, from retirement through entrepreneurship, fatherhood, family. Today, we hope that this show will just really break down the pros and cons of each one of you individuals. We just ask that you guys just be steadfast and talking about your careers and sharing your stories and giving real life examples so that people can really be, blessed by what they hear today. Our guests here today have lived through some amazing times. So we know that y'all have some amazing experience and some amazing wisdom that y'all are going to depart on us today. So without further ado, this is the Father's Roundtable.
Yeah.
Can I be real?
Right.
So how you want to kick it off, brother?
Hey,
we got a lot of wisdom.
Yeah,
we got a lot of wisdom. So go ahead, Pop. Go introduce yourself, man.
Starting out with me. Hey, this is Willie Johnson, a.k.a. Sonny O. And
what you do?
To my right?
No, what do you do?
Okay. I'm retiree, but I'm up into music right now. I've been doing a lot of performing here in the Metroplex, around my name of my group. Shout out to my band, D.O.B. Shout out to all the places that I played. I don't want to get to start naming names. I don't want to, offend nobody. But yeah, we've been there. If it's been open, we've been inside of there. We've been performing. We keep a pretty clean show, you know what I mean? We try to keep not so much of we do a little bit of everything. We ain't gonna miss you, you know what I mean? So some people think, hey, old school. No, don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
No, we hit you with a little everything, but we do try to keep a clean show, more or less on the maze, something that you enjoy bringing your family to, your children to, we try to keep it
so
on.
So y'all do that. Where them fans at?
Oh, we hit the fans for real. We hit the fans. We hit it all, man. We hit Teddy Slim. We do a lot of October London. We do, hey, you think you just going to come to a old school blues show? No, we ain't rocking like that. We have fun with it.
Sir. Glad to have you.
Good, thanks.
Yes, sir.
Oh, also I want to shout out to my church family. I'm in church, so it all started from the church, so I don't mean to interrupt and take up too much time, but shout out to my Newberry family and my pastor,
Yes, sir.
Pastor Pride, Josh Pride.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Yes, Mr. Stan?
Stanley Sanders, a senior here, early retiree, really. Retired at 59 and a half. Got started on dialysis other than that, but it didn't still slow me down.
Yes, sir.
Still a go-getter.
Yeah.
Even though I recently retired 32 years from a paper mill.
Wow.
Prior to that, I was in the food business management club, seen for about 10 years. So that gave me a little something to do that I learned on the side in case I want to make a little pocket money. So I still kind of do that now. A lot of times I don't want to do it for being lazy retirement, but the extra money is always good. Who don't want money? You know, but other than that, life is good. I've got no complaints. A lovely wife for 41 years. Kids are
Hold on,
great.
you said 40?
41, just past January. It was 41 years.
Man.
Ooh,
Shout out to that. Shout out to that.
Other than
I
that,
gotta
like I
catch
said,
up.
like I said, life's good. I consider myself a good person. If you know me, you with me. I'm a friend.
Yes, sir.
I'm a person that I do what I say I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be what I say I'm gonna be, and you can always trust me. So,
I like that. I
other
like
than
that.
that-
Hey, and your barbecue good too. Now, hey, don't skip over that. Now, hey, the barbecue is barbecuing. What do you say? Make barbecue so good, make you want to slap your mama. Yeah.
Like I say, I got some good barbecue, and I'm also
For
an
sure.
expert in Italian because I managed an Italian restaurant for about 7 years.
Yes, sir.
So, matter of fact, I just made 5 different orders of lasagna. I had to go last weekend.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Didn't
sir.
want to do it, but they kept calling me, so I got it out there.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's
Okay.
what's up. Glad to have you here.
All right.
All
It's
right.
on you.
All right. Thank you all for having me here.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate the opportunity to come in and sit with you young men
Yes,
to
sir.
talk. This is an exciting podcast to be able to share. I'm Jeff Morgan. I'm the father-in-law of my son-in-law, Dion Hardeman.
Yeah.
And I'm married 38 years with my wife, read it about 41 years.
Yeah, that's what's up too.
Um,
Hey, we gonna skip
yeah.
over them years, man. Yeah.
So in spite of it all, it can be done.
Yes, sir.
You know.
Amen.
He said,
yeah.
Amen.
I'm 40 years in and I'm doing life.
Hey,
Yeah.
you see what the shirt say? Life.
He got his on.
I'm 40 years in and I'm doing life.
Yes, sir.
So with all that being out in the airways nowadays about relationships and marriages, you do have 40+ year marriages and people still surviving
Sir.
and still learning
Sir.
in the process.
There you
So
go.
that's another note for the young men to take. You know, find some older men to glean from. You know, and that's what y'all doing tonight. Of course, I'm directly in my son-in-law's life, so that's a blessing for me to have a son-in-law to be able to share with my weakness and my strengths. But here I'm gonna talk a little bit about some of my strengths and maybe some of my weaknesses tonight.
Yeah, we need some.
Yeah, tell them what you do though,
Right,
man.
right.
Yeah,
So
tell 'em
what I
you
do
though.
is I'm self-employed for a little over 30 years. I've been working since I was 8 years old. I'm 58. So I grew up out in East Texas, so we come up working. We didn't have choices to work, and I appreciate it because it made us not lazy boys. We couldn't sleep late. We had to get up. We had to get started early, and that makes a difference. And that's a part of what our issue is at the present with our generation that we have is that some of the values and the disciplines we kind of set to the side. I'm a contractor. I deal with property, residential, commercial property, deal with basically everything that pertains to a house, interior, exterior, the whole nine. We can build, we service, we provide a handyman service, we provide professional plumbing, HVAC, electrical, roofing, the whole nine. So I'm still on my grind. I'm not retired. I'm still getting it. Retirement is in the works. So I figure, you know, Lord said the same, maybe a couple more years at it, and we trying to wrap it up now on just the hard work, but so we're trying to taper it off. I also have been an instructor. I've done OSHA standards over the years. I've taught for Texas Workforce. I've taught for Dallas County Community College. I teach a variety, a gamut of standards. We teach OSHA standards. We teach CPR. So those are the things that I like doing the most is teaching. But I've been having my hands tied up in my go-to, which is my contracting, for quite some time. So I'm gonna hold what I got for next, but I do have some things I want to put out there.
Listen, I just want to get a shameless plug in real quick, because while you were sitting right here by me, you know what I'm saying, sharing the camera, man. Listen, if you want your house fixed and you want it fixed right, if your roof got a leak and your door got a squeak, hey, man, call Universal Services, man. Give them a call. Like you said, we do everything from plumbing to AC work, home repairs. Man, we even build your house from the ground up, man. Universal Services.
That's a fact.
Let's get it.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So, we got y'all here to give off some information, not only for our viewers, but for me and for them. I feel like right now we at a times are really changing before our eyes. I can only imagine how much it's changed, for y'all. For me, I'm only 31, so I feel like I still got a lot more to learn. I don't know everything. But at y'all's age, what do y'all feel like is the biggest life lesson that y'all feel like y'all have learned so far? I'm pretty sure y'all still learning as y'all go. I don't think that ever stops. But what do y'all feel like the lesson that y'all have learned in life? The biggest life lesson. It can be whatever. It can be marriage, business, money, finance, whatever. What do y'all feel like is the big lesson that y'all have learned?
Speaking for me, myself, trusting in God. That's the first thing that I think that you have to put and understand who He is, and then that'll help you get that guidance that you need, because, like you say, it's no book for this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we going by trial and error and the things that we learn, and as men, that's what we're supposed to do. I listen to my son a lot of times. A lot of stuff, a lot of words that come out of his mouth, is a lot of wisdom. So he was talking about how it took them so long to invent the lights and stuff like that, how many times they failed. So we learn through trial and error, but it's putting your best foot forward at all times too. You know what I mean? Right. Trying to make sure that you put your best foot, give it your best effort in whatever you're trying to do. Give it your best.
That's right.
I would like to echo off that. Like I said, I've always known the Lord since I was a little boy. I've always went to church, so God is first in my life. And as far as other things, I mean, it's always important. Family to me, my family is my number one. I mean, I love my family. I could be with them every day. It's finding those in life that you can trust in, because even at work, whether you got your own or you work with somebody, all people aren't trustworthy and aren't there for you. So that's one thing too. You got to be thick-skinned and strong-hearted. I want to say, working in the mill 32 years, and Rock 10, West Rock is one of probably the third biggest paper mills in the United States. And of course, that's got white, Mexican, black, and I've seen a lot of prejudice. Never let none of it ever wanted to affect me. Well, hey, I'm gonna run off my job. They want oh no.
Right.
I'm not afraid of that. I've always stand still and stood strong on what I had to do. As far as every job I was in, I know the company considered me a good asset. I've always been on time, 30, 40 to an hour. Not just to say I was trying to impress anybody. I just hate being late for anything. So being on time and prompt too has always been my go-to. Just like for something like this or anything I go to, I'm just like a person that like being on time. But
you get there.
Yeah. Pretty much,
Yeah, scope the scenery.
Yeah, and
Listen, I know you're tired of doing this by yourself. I know. So check this out. It's time to join a community that actually gets it, that actually understands what you're feeling. Inside of the realist community, you'll get weekly coaching, access to online courses, and you get to connect with people that's feeling just like you, just as hungry, wanting just as bad. Whether you're trying to build your brand, scale your business, and if you're just trying to stay focused and get to the other side, we got you, my guy. No fluff, just real strategies, real support, real results. Comment down below the realist. Join the realist community today. And let's level up, bro. Let's get this money. Yeah.
So, like I said, and I'm still learning, even with fatherhood, because I don't want to go bad. Like I said, my father, I had a father, but maybe it wasn't shown right to show me some things that I think if I had that kind of father that could tell you some stuff, cause trust me, that do make a difference if you got a man that's telling you.
That's right.
Cause he's seen it.
That's
hey
right.
man, look out for this and that.
Right.
And instead of you learning it on your own,
That's
you're gonna
right.
be bumping into some walls.
That's
But
right.
bag up and go the right way.
That's right.
you know. But yeah, but like I said, I get some more a little later.
You definitely have to have strong men in your life.
Definitely.
You definitely have
Without
to
a
have
doubt. Without a doubt. And it's so many things. The question is, what are some of the things that we believe that was our strong, what we needed the most, what we learned the most as young men coming up for stability. One is like these brothers are saying, is put the Lord first in your life. I was the same way. We was taught to fear God early on. It's important to teach the children to fear God, to teach them morals and standards early on, so they have something to fear. Because a person without anything to fear eventually can be a dangerous person. So you have to have a fear of something. It's like jumping out of an airplane. There's no need to jump out of a perfect airplane.
Better believe it.
There's nothing wrong.
What'd you say? I did. I wanted to do that.
I'm gonna do it.
Straight,
On
look
my
here.
50th birthday. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
Now-
jump out of
in
airplane.
service, I wanted to do that. I was getting ready to do that.
To mind you, I got a wild side. I was designed to do it, but I don't know if I can still do it.
My wild side's gone.
But consistency, determination is what I've always been. I've always believed that I could do anything. My father taught me that we could do anything. He was raised, of course, by my dad. I thank the Most High for him. He wasn't from that generation. They wasn't the most, I guess, compassionate people. They were some really rough people.
Yeah.
It's just the way they grew up. So they didn't show us a lot of compassion, but we knew that they cared for us by the things that they did for us. They explained a lot of things to us. But I grew determination from that, wanting to show that I could hold my own. Believing in myself, I've always thought ahead. I looked like I could see things before they develop. I'm like, man, if I can get ahead of that, I could get somewhere. So I always believed in myself, getting up early, getting started early. I'd always say the early bird. I was told the early bird catches the worm.
Yeah.
And so if you get up and get to move around early, something's moving around. If you out there first, you get to get it. I've always prided myself on being a thinker, is to think things over before I do them, and have a plan of attack. So those have been some of my go-tos, is believing in myself, being very determined in whatever I decided to do. I didn't have to come in first, but I wasn't going to come in last.
Yeah.
They're not coming late.
Yeah, I wasn't coming in next to last.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all this though, because I hear y'all and like as y'all talk, right? Yeah, I hear the wisdom and I hear like just the experience, but I know it ain't always been like that, right? And like for me, I'm 40, Mozzie 31. You know what I mean? Like we are where y'all was, right? And now it's even guys that's further back than us. My question to y'all is like, when y'all were in y'all 20s and like 30s and y'all was going through like real life struggles, like what was it that made y'all like turn? Because I know like when Mozzie, he's 30, I'm 40, and he telling me stuff, I'm like, man, I remember that. And then I'm telling him like, bro, my father-in-law told me the same thing. So it's like around that age, like you said, you can kind of see what was that like turning point in y'all life where it was like, man, I gotta like really do something different.
Me, I guess when I lost my family members, when I lost my mom and my brother, that kind of threw me off for a little bit. And while I was in the service, but I was still trying to represent the morals and the things that they taught me. Being away from family and everything. Now you by yourself, like almost in jail. So now God sits down and you have this revelation, and God began to speak to you. because you got a lot of stuff going on in your head. Suicide, everything going on. Man, this world is rough. But then that voice in your head of what they taught you, what they instilled in you,
That's right.
begin to step forward.
Right.
And then that pride starts stepping out.
Right.
That name that you carry start kicking in. And that's when that revelation hit you, and that's when you start like, man, I gotta step on business.
That's right. That's right.
Because, I'm gold. I'm pure gold, and I gotta step on business right now. Right. I gotta get my shine in. I'm not trying to outshine nobody else. It's like what I tell the people in my band. We all stars. You see what I'm saying? What makes a star? It can't be that one light because it's a spotlight. It's everybody gleaming when it's time for them to shine.
Right.
So when it's time for me to shine, I'm going to shine and you gleam. But when it's time for you to shine, you better shine and let me gleam. That's where I get a lot of earthly inspiration from, I guess, a lot of this stuff that was instilled in me through my mother and wisdom. And, you can't leave mom out, because they played a vital part in our rearing and stuff like that there. But, since we on the fathers, yes, my grandpops, my dad, my brother, all so instrumental in my upbringing, not only from the good things that they done, but from the mistakes that they made too.
I like it.
Man, I got married when I was 20, and when I got married, I was in the restaurant business. And by the time I was 22, one of the owners of the place, he lost one of his managers. And at that time, I was the chef, the head chef. And he was talking to one of his friends, said, man, I need to get another manager. And this particular guy he said that to, he was having him run another restaurant, but he had him come there so I can train him in the back of the house. So when he told that guy the guy said, say, man, you got a guy back there that know your established can run this. This is the story they told me afterwards. So I just remember the owner coming through and coming back when I was in the back, and he said, hey, Stan, come in a shirt and tie tomorrow. That's all he said. He trained me how to run the front of the house management. One part was a family dining. One part was actually a nightclub where we had live entertainment. Matter of fact, bands that played after 5 and those bands back in the 80s. And I made real good money. But what got me, they had no insurance for the employees. I had one daughter, then I had Stan Jr., then when I had my third daughter, they got sick. We was studying out of Parkland all day. I said, hey, man. And I had a nephew that went to the paper mill, and he would say, hey, man, you still making way good money than you making now, but you got all the benefits and everything you need. So I went over there and boom, insurance, what doctors, when you wanted it. I mean, it changed up. Plus, they had union, and the atmosphere wasn't bad, and they gave me a chance that I was really making money to the point where I made the money. Well, hey, I'm making the money with, I can put some money back here. I'm making so much. So I stuck in to 32 years, and to a point where I was over my department when I left. And like I said, other than the dialysis, if it hadn't hit me at 59, I knew I would have stayed there to 65 because I was looking for that certain number in retirement that I wanted in my 401, because we not only had 401, they still had a pension plan. So,
see, our audience don't even know what a pension plan is.
Right,
they're gonna be on ChatGPT like pension. They pension people.
Well, the companies that had that actually, like I said, back in the day, most of them got rid of it. That's and they created the 401s because they wanted you to help pay for your own retirement.
Right.
Well, the ones that had those pensions, then they sold out. That was you had worked for that money anyway. So most companies gave you what they figured you had in it, and you could pocket that. but you had to start your 401. Some companies went 50 cents on the dollar. Some companies matched your 401 dollar per dollar. So that was actually a great for us to still have a pension, and we still, after each contract, they increased it. And the pension, like I said, excuse me, the 401, well, we could put into that. So I said, man, I can actually be set up pretty good. So that's why I actually stayed in the middle. Not because, I could maybe start my own thing here, but I'm making real good money, and it's a future in it, and I'm looking at the longevity. As long as I do my job, I got a job, and I would be able to help myself in my retirement ages, and with the dialysis and having to retire early, then not realizing that I had already done did good enough where I didn't lose anything when I lost making, not bragging, to say $120,000 a year to $4,500 a month, and Social Security. I was like, I actually did good, and I maneuvered and did my money right. So, yeah.
Willis talked about being in the military. Stanley talked about working on a job. At 21, I was married and still running the streets. So I wasn't stable at 20, 21. My background, even though I was raised to work, raised out in the country, I migrated to Dallas. So I didn't have that father figure around me anymore, and that survival side of me more so came out once I got to the city. I could survive, talk to where I was raised, survive anywhere, whatever, that I had to give with to live. We just didn't have any kind of reservation. Good people, but I pretty much go anywhere and watch myself. When I got to Dallas, I had a lot of kin people here. So I met my wife. She was 16. I was 17. She had just turned. She was six. She was just turned. Got a 16th birthday. She was 16. I was 17, and we got married. She was 18, and I was 19 when we got married. We had our first and only child was coming, and I wasn't ready for. I didn't know anything about. I wanted to get married, settle down, and have a wife. That wasn't just something I have even focused on. But my wife and I, we realized we cared for one another. We actually loved one another, and we knew we wanted to be together. So at that time, like I said, I was still ripping and running. It was only God that saved me,
did a little running.
Yeah. And this was in the mid '80s, so it's too much to tell about the mid '80s. But in the mid '80s, it was
a lot going on.
It was a lot going on. It was new for us.
We put it on back then.
Yeah.
Look, y'all say it was fun.
I feel like y'all.
Some stories you can't tell.
Some stories you can't tell, right? But this is what I'm saying. So like, when you think about now, right? Because now I want to get into like the real conversation of it all, right? Like a little more back and forth dialogue, because I really want to know, like, because our generation, we always ask, where's the disconnect between
our generation?
Exactly. Because as you were talking in specific, you said something about a pension, right? And as you was talking, I'm like, okay, if they still had a pension in today's time and not a 401k, it would be a lot more people
working jobs,
willing to work a job. But like you're saying, it's for me, it's like, it's not worth it. You go work on the job, you paying all this money in on this 401k just for you to retire, and then they say we're gonna penalize you, or if you pull it out early, and then you turn around like we was talking about earlier, you got somebody that can get on TikTok with one arm and a chicken wing arm and they getting paid tens and thousands of dollars, like.
And that's what I hated about what I exposed my son to. I didn't hate what I did. I take that back. Let me put it this way. I'd rather taught my son how to be an entrepreneur than to work on the job for someone else.
And that's the question I
That's
have.
where I feel like that I failed him in the long run. So that's why I keep my grind up. It wasn't because I wasn't trying to do it is because of the times. You see what I'm saying? And where I was at that time. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, bam,
Makes sense.
I'm working to make sure that he's covered. You know what I mean? No matter what, he's gonna be covered. Now, if they take that job away from me, am I gonna fall on my face? No, I'm still gonna feed my family.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm just like, okay, boom. After you get so far down the line in it, then you start thinking, okay, let me go on and it kind of takes its own course. With me, I was doing it to cause I feel like that they was trying to run me off to keep me from retirement, which was one of the plans that they would always try to do.
Right.
So that's why I advise against that. Because close you get to retirement, they always gonna try to run them games and try to run you off one way or the other. Get rid
So
of
they
it.
ain't got to pay you all
Yeah,
your
so
money.
they ain't got to pay all that money, so they won't have to stand by their word. So then I saw a lot of racism. So I had to stay there for that because I'm like, no, we all men's around here. So I had to try to shift the narrative on on a lot of people that I came in contact that had a different view of who I am. Now when I see those people, they look at me different and they respect me for the grind that and what I went through, what they threw at me, what I took, what I gave it to them, you know, because I still don't, they didn't just push me around. I still don't business, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, but that's what they respected about me because they just couldn't run over me.
Gotcha.
And I had to make sure that they, you know what I mean? So I had a lot of people that was working up under me. So I had to kind of like make sure that I kind of like left that say, you know, if they doing me, they going to do you, but don't let them run you off because you right here now. And then the second thing that really made me kind of, I don't want to take up too much time, was when I got to retirement age. Went in there, being a guy was sitting in there getting ready to retire together. He had reached retirement age. He had been working for over 40-something years. He was losing money, working. Losing money, working, right? Okay, so he gets there, he gets his retirement papers together. His wife's kind of forcing him to retire. And I'm in there because I'm coming up time. So I'm like thinking about what am I doing with retirement, what I'm going to do with this one thing, the third. So here we go. A week later, bro dead. He can't collect none of his money, what they got. So then I said, okay, boom, retire, get mine. Man, won't you stick around? Man, I don't want max nothing. I want what y'all got for me right now. I can make it off the rest of y'all. Don't know who y'all dealing with.
I think that not to cut you off, I think that's the thing for our generation. I think it was for me. It was being exposed to seeing the work that you put in. Not that you raised me to not put in the same work, but it's like, okay, cool. Like, okay, my pops already did this. I'm supposed to grow up to be better than him.
There you go.
So I'm looking at it like, okay, well, I don't want to do the exact same thing he did. I want to see if I can't top that. So I'm taking the entrepreneurship route. It's a lot harder, because it's no safety net. There's no.
That's correct.
Like, you can fall at any moment, like you said. It's like jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. You can fall and your parachute may not work, but it's always the other side. Okay, but what if all this work? What if everything hits? What if everything works out the exact same way you planned it to? So for me, I think that's why I chose the entrepreneurship route. Like, I went to college, it wasn't for me, bro. Like, it just was not for me. I went there, I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I didn't know why I was there.
I used to get mad at him about that too.
Yeah, I just went because I was able to get out the house, you know? And so I'm at the age to where it's like I'm stuck between trying to figure out what I want to do for my life and what my parents are like hey, this is what you need to be doing. I'm like, man, that just ain't me though. I don't really do good on jobs. I don't like listen. I'm a hard head. I like doing things on my turn, but that's why I feel like I'm so entrepreneurship driven. So for you, Mr. Morgan, my question is like, what pushed you to your point of like, okay, entrepreneurship is the way for me?
Well, it was in my family. Both my grandmothers sold things. So I believed early on, if I kept something to sold, this was my philosophy. I'd never be broke. So I believe in.
Hold on, you gotta say that one more time.
Yeah,
Cause listen, I'm gonna tell you something. You told me that when I first started on my journey, right? And that's one thing I hold on. If you got something that in your hand that you can sell, you can always make some money. So I ain't want to interrupt you, but I didn't want to skip over that point because people need to hear that. But go ahead.
If you find something to sell, you'll never be broke. That includes bartering, trading, swapping, buying and selling. So if you keep something around you to sell, somebody's always willing to buy it. So you'll always have some money. It could be anything, and so you can build from that perspective mentally. But also, we was taught to work with our hands and to think critical. So we had to get things like Willie said. We had to do things right, do your best. So when you apply that, knowing that if I learn to do something, my dad always told me that he's a son you may not care for, and he cursed. He said, but if you don't, you may not care for a person. He said, but if they know something that you want to learn, he said, you learn it from them, and after you learn it from them, you tell them, kiss it and goodbye. You know what I'm saying? So I had to do a whole lot of that. I had to humble myself and learn from other men. It wasn't always grudgingly, because a lot of it was good experiences. But I believed if I can learn what another man can do, I can do the same thing, like you said, that this next man do, and I can make money doing it. And that's how I have crafted my mindset. I've also worked on jobs. I've had what I would say a real good job, but that job was one that dealt with a lot of our people. So it was a big organization, and it dealt with our people, our children. So that really molded me and sculpted my thinking as far as just dealing with people. But I also had a skill. So the other thing that Dion asked is what separate us is y'all not learning how to do something with your hands, because that's your backup. You need to know how to do something other than change the dollars.
Have a trade.
Exactly. You have to learn to do something. Critical thinking meaning you can do something, but it has to be a passion, and it also has to make you money. I don't just believe in doing a passion. Passion always pay, but you have to have something that you can do to make money because you're selling yourself at that time. So I can sell my thoughts, my skills, because people have problems that everybody can't fix. So I can attach a fee to that, and I can present myself professionally, and just like anybody else. And actually, us so-called, and I'm gonna use the term so-called Negroes, we have to be 4 to 5 times better than the next group of people. But at the same time, we're gonna get the most critical,
now I want to ask a question to that point, right? Because we all sitting up here, right? And that's a very important question that you said. So, but do we say what you just said? We all think my mind just went blank.
About what part?
The generation. Why we
not good with our hands?
No, the disconnect. Where the disconnect come in?
The disconnect was
we don't think. We don't learn to use our. Did we say you want to learn?
But use your hands and along with critical thinking.
Yeah.
To have.
And then you said the so-called Negroes.
Man,
my mind.
We gotta work. We gotta work. He said the Negroes have to work 4 to 5
times. So that's So this my point right here to the social media era, because that's what we live in, the AI, the technology era. Do we really have to be 4 to 5 times better?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
All 3 of us told you yes.
But I'm saying that we don't.
And
in certain areas, like because I'm just go ahead.
Look at the country now. The president that's sitting there now is telling you that you gotta do better because he want to call himself in this country is not equal. Where they put things in place where the black man can at least have a chance. Because in the beginning, when they stole the land from the Indians, they put all the white people they had to rush out and you get land to start yourself. Black people, like Martin Luther King said, we didn't have boots to put bootstraps in. So we didn't get that chance. So he's trying to take all that away now because he feel, well, even if you're a white man and you may not be better than him, you can still get this job, not because of some rule that we don't wrote down on paper.
Yeah.
So he's trying to take all that away.
All the rights.
We're right, which is really not equal, because even with the rights we had, it still wasn't fair.
Thanks.
But he's taking all that away. So you look at what you're doing and what you're trying to go get, they still trying to make sure. They were showing is for minorities for the contract for the United States. Is a certain amount go to minorities.
Mm-hmm.
You know which minority group gets the most?
White women.
Exactly.
I
That's right.
just saw it. I just
White
saw it.
women.
I just read that the other day.
When you're dealing with statistics, this is what cleared a lot of the air. Getting back to your grassroots question, but it's data, it's statistics. So we don't have to guess. It's fine to talk about things, but when we go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it'll give you the statistics down to the T or who doing what.
Well, yeah.
We at 1 to 2% in every category. So when we talking, we dealing with two groups of people, and I'm using the term Negro because I'm not using the term Black or all these other terms.
Right.
So there's no other groups that identify themselves as Negroes. With that being said, we're not including anybody with any other preference. The only two groups that's considered, that I'm talking about Negro, is the male and female. That's what we have to break this down to. We can't add in the genders and in the preferences. If you born this or you born, that's all that exists when it comes to survival. So, but getting back to your point, the two things, and we probably hope we answered the disconnect question to some degree.
Yeah.
But when you have a forum like this, you have a new stage to work from. You don't have to be out front. You don't have to dress a certain way. You don't have to even have a certain vernacular or jargon. This is an industry, but you have to look at that entire group. How many of the Negro male are going to fit into this category that's going to survive? They have a whole complete livelihood, and the female. So we have to fit in somewhere in the society to provide the things that we somewhat accustomed to. We most of us know how to do without, and maybe y'all may not know so much because y'all fortunate had parents that helped provide you, but we know how to do without, then eat every day. We missed some meals. We won't use clothes. We had 2 pair of shoes for the whole year. We didn't have lunch money. You know, it's just a whole gamut of things that we was accustomed to. But the point of it is, all of our children.
Feel bad because the next one like us
We
had
just-
the
we was
same
all-
thing.
we was
So
all
we
the same
all was
thing.
like we was all grinding the same way. So that's why we kind of like.
So looking at the generation now that's here now, do y'all feel like we're further behind than y'all?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, for one, because
For
it's
real.
a handful that want to do something like you guys. Most of these jokers I watched at the mill before I left, young guys coming in can make $1,500 a week. Come in and get one check and quit. And during that first week, some of them jokers missed 2 or 3 days, still calling in. I mean, it seemed like the young generation, and I've witnessed it because I was there a while before I left, that don't want to work. People want you to get something. They want everybody want money. People want money.
everybody want money.
They don't want to work for it.
Nobody trying
I mean,
to
all
get
my
it.
uncles. That's what I guess what helped me out was my mother's brothers back when the black man had these construction companies out here.
That's right.
My uncles, because I actually, when I was in the 8th grade, my brother, I got a generation where I got 3 siblings old enough where I grew up with nephews and nieces older than me. So I was out there with my brother-in-law, my brother, and where they were pouring streets in Plano for Plano High School and all that was up.
That's right.
And I remember out there doing that, and like I said, that taught me, when I started making money, the money will help you get things, and it helped me, because by that time my mother had left my father, and like I said, because I had older siblings, when I was 16, my mother was in her 50s. So I was making $200 a week as a kid.
I got
So
a question for you.
Go ahead.
This man, he made a very valid point, brother, right here. You got to put your hands to it. The Bible says if you don't put your hands to it, you ain't gonna eat. I want to ask you, what kind of job would you prefer to do? Both of y'all.
I'm gonna be totally honest. If you tell me to say my dream job, it would be doing this. It's traveling the world, inspiring, motivating, waking up the young people,
but okay,
helping them, motivating.
That's what we say. That's what we understand. We understand that y'all like to talk a lot, But when it comes to putting y'all hands to it,
Well, you
Y'all-
don't get
y'all-
paid for talking now.
yeah, I understand, I understand that, but then you get in a lot of trouble for talking too.
Well, also, everybody can't do the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
But you
That's-
still
that's-
got to put your hands.
You gotta
to
work,
it.
though. Yeah, you gotta work. You
And
gotta
see,
work.
that's what I'm saying. The biggest issue is with the new adventures, the new doors opening. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't criticize anyone, any young man. If you have the intellect to come in and manipulate the situation and get paid, that's beautiful. You can make that meal, 2-3 meal, and travel the world. It's other people that are doing it. It's people that are trading stocks. It's people that are buying property. So these things are doable. You don't have to get your hands dirty as far as greasy all the time.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about.
But I know what you're talking
you know,
about.
You gotta
Right.
build. You gotta
I'm
build.
saying that
Exactly.
you gotta. When you go out there, see a lot of guys give up on their dream real early, like you say. You know, I think that we all, as young men, come with a dream. We miss that a lot of it because number one, we don't have the males like we had to
Right.
motivate us.
Right.
We had motivators back then.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Now a lot of people are scared to motivate. I try to take out my time with young men and stuff like that there, but everybody seems like they so busy. So the next generation, like you guys, who gonna motivate the other
And see,
other
and
young
not
men?
to cut you off, but I think that's where, like, when you said earlier, you was like the younger generation, right? You see them coming and they don't know about time management. And I look around, like, for me, right? I was born in the 80s. You spoke about the 80s. I didn't grow up with a father in the house. A lot of my friends didn't grow up with a father in the house, right? I had my grandfather, I had my uncles, but like directly in the house, I didn't have that. And I moved from state to state. I was born in Georgia. I lived in Alabama until I was 2. I moved to New Jersey when I was 3. I moved back to Alabama. I moved to Dallas. You see what I'm saying? So for me, I see a lot of other guys like me too we don't get those elders until we get grown. Yeah. But by that time, it's so much that done happened that we haven't been taught that a lot of the elders, they go, we don't even want to deal with them. Y'all too far gone.
Look at Pop said a while ago that sometimes you can get in trouble for talking and things you say. I applaud that because there's a lot of things people afraid to say, even if it's dangerous, that people need to hear. And that's what's wrong. People won't speak up because a lot of people are scared. And what you guys are doing here is got a platform for whoever watching y'all, these young cats can see, hey, okay, you hear what, hey, get out and do what you have to do. Step up.
Yes,
so how I'll go to so how important is a black man to his family? Father,
the biggest
husband.
thing you could ever have in your life next to God.
I'd second that.
Amen.
The biggest thing you could ever have in your life next to God.
But here's the issue. We have been diminished. We have been devalued. And it's not from our young men, our sons and grandsons. Unfortunately, society have just portrayed us in such a way until already we've battled to be in a position to be that example. So what I would say at this point, we need to take out more time to talk to one another, to bridge that gap like Dan was talking about, because it is a disconnect. And to, like Stan is saying, to have somebody to trust, because you have to have somebody to trust. You have to have a male factor in your life. I gleaned from a lot of men because I knew they knew something that I didn't know. I had to learn. And I learned from my men in particular, the men like me. I learned from other people because a lot of times they would teach you something unintentionally or teach you without fear. You know, like, you know, they can tell you something like, why is this guy telling me that? Well, he feel like you can't challenge him anyway. But we have to find our men to listen to and to go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just listening. I was just kind of like do my hand expression because
I think it's a what I've noticed at 31, there are a lot of, so we have a lot more young millionaires than probably in y'all's time. outside
For
of
sure.
like the
Yeah.
professional
Yeah, that's
stuff,
easy.
like
That's-
sports, music, entertainment, we have a lot more millionaires.
That's me.
So
man.
with that though, they're younger, so it's harder to get information because think of how y'all would be. Think about y'all at 20. Okay, at the position that y'all was at. Now imagine if y'all had access to millions of dollars at 20. How would y'all be? How would y'all act? Could somebody older talk to y'all? And I think that's what we have the like. Yeah, y'all can say yes now because y'all older, y'all understand the power of an older person giving information. But when you young and you freshly into money and a lot of money or all this exposure,
So you're saying that people nowadays, young guys, I got a $50 million contract. In other words, people with money, you can't tell them nothing.
and you see, we see it all the time,
Nah,
and they
but for real,
crash
but
out.
for real,
You're right.
This
You're right.
younger generation do feel like that.
Hey,
They
prime-
say,
prime
right,
example.
if you ain't got the rollie, if you
They
ain't
not
got the
right,
beans,
right.
You can't
talk to me.
Prime example,
Yeah.
we got people like, and it's not to knock him down because I don't believe in knocking down another black man, but we got people like Anthony Edwards. He's the top of his game, but he's in the public saying, hey, I don't want nothing to do with this kid. Even though I helped to produce this kid, I'm Anthony Edwards. I'm young. I'm the face in the NBA, one of the biggest platforms in, if not in the world. So it's like, who can tell him, hey man, you know what? That's not a
Here's
smart
what
move.
happened to that situation. It's like any other situation. There is a cliff that you eventually step off of. So there's nothing that lasts forever just because we have been around people with money.
Yeah.
So we've come up around people with all
I
kind of
had
money.
money.
So, it wasn't
Ain't lost it.
it wasn't where you could know they had millions. Our people always had big money, but it wasn't publicized like out here
It
and
is
now.
now, yeah.
So our only issue was when people made legitimate money is getting next to that person and saying, hey man, how did you do that? That was always our problem. Is that the men didn't seem to take our time to show me. We had to just get in there, learn it ourselves, figure it out. That's the bigger issue that I saw that I had. Else as men, it's like this guy knows something, but he won't take out the time to
That's
tell
what
me.
we do. We cover it up. If we
Yeah.
trying to learn something,
Yeah.
we ain't gonna teach them. We doing like this here. We want to learn it all ourselves so we can be the big dog on the shelf. And then when you get knocked off, it's up to somebody else.
But I
to
think
try.
like with our generation, that's what we're good at. Like we're good at sharing information.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah,
gonna
this-
charge you.
We're gonna charge you, but we good at sharing it
This
though.
is the age of
Yeah.
information.
Yes.
For sure.
And you mentioned
yes.
it being a father, not acknowledging the kids. It's been going on even before our time.
Yep.
Not fathers, guys making babies,
Right.
and the mothers raising them.
That's right.
And this another thing.
Yeah,
They
we finna hit the real
finna hit the
now.
real now.
We
So
finna hit the real right now.
it was going around social media, right? They say they blaming it on the black fathers for years, from the 80s up until now. The black fathers. Someone made a statement. I want to get y'all opinion on it. They said if the black father was absent in the 80s and in the 90s, and
That's
these
so
kids
true.
we got coming up now, that uncontrollable and undis and that, is it the black father's fault if he wasn't in the house? Or is it the black mother?
It's the black mother's fault, in my opinion. And the reason why I say that is because when we start requesting rights for this and that, and you finally get those rights, and they bait you in. See, the devil is deceiving, real cunning. It was a plan put in place before they even thought about it. They just fell into the trap. If you can get free money,
That's right.
and they tell you to put your man out your house,
That's right.
and they're going to keep on, and now you say, okay, I got this. Well, all I have to do is have another one to keep it. Well, what I'm going to keep on doing? So now the enemy has you wrapped up in his web.
Right.
Because number one, it's the enemy from the beginning. It has nothing to do with man nor woman. It's
That's right.
the enemy.
That's right.
From you always fighting the enemy.
Now, Willie, I'm going to cut you, but you said it. That's a hard subject. It's a real touchy subject.
But I think it got to be said.
It
though.
gotta be said.
Well, like Willie said, it was a domino effect. It was a plan put in place. It was political. It was a bait and switch. And unfortunately, we have took that bait to this very day being one-sided with a political view. We're the only group in this country that have a one-sided political view. We will swear, live, and die on one side. Never know what's going on the other side. So unfortunately, when those political handouts or caveats are put out there, you thinking you getting something, but who settled for a monthly check and a project? There's another group to settle for that. Then that's what conditions. You can have this, but you can have a man. Knowing that no woman on earth gonna be without a man.
Why wouldn't you give that to the man?
Exactly.
He's supposed to be the head of the house.
Exactly.
Why you put that in his hands and see how he managed that?
But what in his hands?
The
money.
the
resources.
resources.
That's what the government's got you. You
No, but I'm just
you
saying-
ain't gonna get them benefits if the man was there. That's how they kept it separated.
That's how they kept
And
it
then,
separated.
so
That's why I'm trying to
that
wake
man
you up
can't
to
be
right
in that
now.
can't be in that house for the black person.
And the plan is not complete because this is, in my opinion, this is the whole plan. We separate, we conquer,
That's right.
and divide.
That's right.
Okay, now that we got the plan in place, we're going to practice what we finna do. So you see all those buses and airplanes going out the country?
That's right.
That's just the practice. The real plan is when they start putting people of other that's been here on where they're going to start at, the prison system. When you get over there in those other countries, you think you're going to be treated?
No.
Boy.
And it's a switch. The other ones is
And they're going to get paid to do it,
They
dog.
coming in.
And they're going to get...
So I know we
Prison
getting
system
Y'all
making money
getting a little deep now. Keep going. Now keep going.
But
Keep
to
going.
To your question, it's a domino effect. Is that it started with think tanks. This is why they call it it's like if we want to we're going to do a project and we're going to have a think tank and we're going to put these pieces together. We might use mice in this project. We're going to do social, economic, child rearing, and we see the effects of this project, and we put the project into real time. And you call it a what? Project.
Yeah.
And we can put you in a project. But this is a project.
That's what it's named. They
Projects.
gave you the whole name to
Yeah.
They didn't change the word. They didn't change the word. Bro, they didn't change the word or nothing. They told you exactly what the project.
Yeah, this is a project.
And that's what they feel
and
for the
we
project, dog.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
And once you're in the project, you put your kids and everybody else in the project.
Then we
It's a
glorify the project and we make
Exactly.
it seem like it's somewhere
cool.
cool to live.
Exactly.
And then we look
repping
down
our
on people
hood.
that ain't even
We
from
repping
here.
we repping our hood.
Come on now.
So
But
when you-
we congratulate. Excuse me.
No, go ahead. No, so when you look like at the desired results of this project, it's all type of desired results that they want out of it. One of the most damaging desired results is that the females have a survival instinct till they eventually produce more females than males, and the males that they produce, they effeminize the males.
They only got a mother.
Yeah.
They
They
act
don't
like
have
women,
a mother.
so to
Right.
speak.
They gotta act. They
so
gotta
for the
act
few
like
males
that.
that's around, the females fight for that attention. So the one male got his choice of all the females that he want, and that's where the impregnation come in with no responsibility, because you
It's
saw
a
that.
game.
Exactly. So it's a
Man,
whole domino
that
effect.
plan been put in place.
At the end of the day, and we don't know it's been played on one side. Stay over here, and we're gonna give you finances, and we're gonna give you housing, but we're gonna make you compete with the most
Resources.
with resources and the most formidable male, and not let you have a system where that's natural, where your son can have a male, a female, and you see. So
Wow.
this is something that has been designed for us to misunderstand one another.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and then our children are born. So you add other elements to this project. But this is working so well. Let's put a lot of liquor stores
Around the corner.
Let me add
Go
something
ahead.
else to the
Go
equation
ahead.
right quick. I don't want to leave you out, bro.
I'm sorry, Stanley.
No, oh no.
Let me ask you.
learning.
Add something to the equation. When most of you young brothers go to jail, what do they learn?
They learn structure. They learn discipline. They learn
When they come out, they want to meet. They learn how to meet Jesus up in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then by the time they come out, they learning how to kind of like control themselves a little bit.
They think ham ain't
So
good for
let
you.
me ask you this: then. Do you think?
So
do you? That's what I was going to say. So do you think, like,
black men
need to go to jail for correction?
So or
What it boils down to,
That's what he's saying.
all our black males that's teaching is in jail.
Exactly.
All
okay,
the Muslims
okay. I
and
see
all
what
the
you're saying.
people
I
that's
see what you're
teaching
saying. They in
is
jail.
in jail.
But that's
so
what I'm
that's
saying.
where our black males.
So where do we get our structure? So where do we get our
That's what I'm
structure
saying.
from?
These guys can be on the streets. They can be unruly. They can be thugs. But the moment they go to jail, they got to align. It's a system.
It's a lot of people thrown in jail for a little less than nothing. That's doing,
true, too.
Exactly.
That's
Everybody
studying,
in jail don't admit they just
And that was meant for the black community on purpose because
It's
they put
slavery.
them in jail and give them a record back then. Then you can't come out and vote right out.
Yeah.
So that take away a lot of votes right there.
They ain't starting.
That's just
checking
like
you out
even in
from
the
third
80s.
grade until now to figure out what you're gonna be
Facts,
when they
facts.
start studying you.
Listen,
they studying your
that's
behavior.
that's
for
that
school. That's what
gifted
school
and
is about.
talented program
See,
too. I was researching about how they used to do that.
That's right.
They take that way
work.
down.
Yeah.
When they taking the money away from the education department, they're taking away Head Start
Facts.
and all of that.
They studying you.
Yeah.
When you're in school, you can study.
And that's it because they bring a competition over here that's going to already go into specific educational fields to produce, and they're gonna come over here like they're already here with intention.
Yeah.
So to y'all's grassroots question, what do we see from a work perspective, entrepreneurship, or finding a good company to work for?
Yes.
I say both. For those that desire to be entrepreneurs, we need young men like yourself that have learning and figuring out how to be a successful entrepreneur. Everyone don't want to work for themselves.
Right.
Because like you said, Miles,
Become a
that's
lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
To be disciplined, to get up. Now, you don't have to be incarcerated to be disciplined. You learn discipline throughout life. I'm not sure your dad provided you discipline. Then your males in your family provided this discipline. Obviously, y'all are here. So you don't have to, so everybody's not going to have a type of discipline. Some people need a type of structure, a reason to get up and go every morning.
Right.
So that's where you work with your sons and your daughters to find out what their interest is. I'm not a proponent, and I don't believe in letting a child figure it out for themselves.
Thanks.
That don't work. You have to guide a child. The scripture said, raise up a child in the way they should go. You should, as a parent, as a grandparent, should study your children and see what their weaknesses and strengths are and work with that child. You can have 10 of them. You're supposed to know all your children.
Check this out.
Go ahead.
Because of the needs for demand, it's so much product that has to get out that there's jobs out there that's paying money that's ridiculous. You can make $40, $50 an hour. Some jobs are paying you $1,600 a week, and you working for somebody.
Right.
But
That's
if
good
you
money.
want to work,
Yeah.
you can have a lovely home,
Yes.
and
I got
provide for
something
your
with that.
provide for your family.
Yes.
But it's needed. You need the bosses,
Yes.
and you need the workers. Not you wouldn't have a society.
And I'm going to add to that one thing. Money management is a part of our problem. It's like Stanley said, he figured out what to do with his money. Early on, said this will work. I can work this, and he had a game plan. So, as a self-employed individual, you still have to have a financial game plan. You figure it out as you go. You might not have the money to take the class, but you got to get some discipline
You
about
gotta
yourself.
be disciplined when you messing with your own money.
Yeah.
That's why so many millionaires go broke. Because those young guys were never taught how to deal with money.
And I think that's what our generation like. We know how to make money.
We don't know how to manage.
We hard.
And I had to
I
bump my head too. I had to learn. I was making because I'm the first in my family I could probably say that was making money doing like just this, social media. I still don't
Proud
think
of you.
I don't think my
Proud of
parents
you.
still don't know how
Proud
much
of
money
you.
I made.
Oh, I know you made some.
but I made some good money.
Hey,
But
one day, Pops, I'm gonna tell you because he showed me. He showed me, and when he showed me, it made me go, "Hey, this is D.L. Harden. I want to talk to
I raised
y'all."
this one.
Yeah.
I raised this one. I already know.
Nah, for
But
sure.
I made some good money doing YouTube. I didn't have any money management though, and that's why I say I can speak from the young
Like
guys
your
that
dad,
are making
don't fall
money.
too far.
I had to bump my head. I had to learn by me and D was talking about this earlier. Like I had like a 730 credit score at like 25. I didn't even know what it was. I just knew I had a 730. I was making 6 figures a year and didn't know where to put it, where to invest. In my mind, I'm thinking, I'm young, I'm making money doing something that I love to do. I feel like this feeling will last forever.
So
But
now,
you're one of the young guys that wanted to show your money off.
I was never that. I was never that. I'm always there. I was always there.
I still don't understand today. Just
That when they do that.
like old boy, Roy. Everybody know you worth almost close to $1 billion. Why you got to always show a stack of money?
everything.
We know you got money. We
Yeah.
know money. We know what money look like.
and see, that's a bad example for young men that's coming up. The
Definitely.
bag. That's where that come from.
Yes.
That's toting the bag.
That's why they shooting and running each other down
Exactly.
on the street now.
I want to
killing
ask
each
y'all
other.
this though. Oh, go
I
ahead.
want to know why. I mean, I kind of know why, but why y'all think young men run to the game?
What game?
To the gang,
Yeah,
like gang life.
gang life?
Bloods and,
I'm gonna be
different,
honest. I think
Illuminati and different stuff like
I
that.
think people just want to be part of something.
Yeah.
Like for real. Like I think deep down inside, people just want to be part of something.
Do you think it's because of other men, the lack of men in the house?
I think it's because it's a lack of men, but you got some of these
it's
guys
the
got
reasons,
men. You got guys that's saying, man, my uncle put me in the game. My daddy was a gang banger. So you got really people that's like, my granddaddy was a gang banger. My daddy was a gang banger. Now I gang bang.
It's passed down.
It's passed
Yeah,
down.
you got to
know what
realize
I
in
mean?
school, in these public schools in every city, you got these jokers.
They wanna
God
be
said,
tough.
yeah, well, you got jokers, man. 5 guys want to come jump this one guy because baby think because the girls like him, stuff like
Crazy,
that.
yeah.
So you pretty much got to hook up with somebody almost
For
to not
protection.
get jumped nowadays. It ain't no nowadays. It's always been back when I was in school.
Yeah.
'Cause-
But back then, we can
You can fight. Yeah, you
Right,
go
that's
home.
right, but it still was a
yeah,
point. You still was
yeah.
hooking up
Back in
with
the
some of the
day.
wrong
Yes,
jokers
yeah.
because of that situation.
Let me-
Unless you had
Let
a
me
lot of
ask y'all
brothers.
this. Let me ask y'all this, cause y'all up here and all y'all I assume around the same age. All y'all been
I'm
married.
63. I just turned 63 in January.
63,
58.
58.
I'm older than all of them.
Oh no. You know what I'm saying? So y'all all y'all over 50, right?
Yeah.
And I hear y'all agreeing on a lot of stuff. But I know it from y'all experiences, like it's some things that y'all don't disagree on, right? From y'all experience, where do y'all see the disconnect from y'all age group, and how is that? Or can y'all see? Because I can see where it's affecting us.
Yeah.
Because if we seeing like y'all, we see y'all getting along, right? But I see a lot of older guys that's not getting. They got dividing thoughts, like you said.
And that's what
They
that's
so
what the
far on
whole
one
narrative
side that they
come
don't
from,
want to. You know what
the
I mean?
narrative. 2 black men can't work together
Can't
because
work
all they gonna
together.
do is bicker and argue.
Exactly.
So that's well before me and Dion's
him.
time.
Facts.
So, and that's been a narrative. But obviously, me and my brother, we've been working together. You know, we have conversations.
That's what
over-
I'm saying. When did that start?
I mean, that's been a
That's
narrative
what-
long
that's
before.
been the narrative.
Because when I was raised, we always worked together.
Yeah.
That's how we came up.
Right.
We always looked out for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you came over to my house, you ate whatever I ate, you know what I mean? So that disconnect didn't come from us. The disconnect came from the divided family. When your mama's talking about this one over here, now he can't come over here to see his kids because old boy is tripping. You see what I'm saying? So now you got the disconnect between these 2 brothers over here behind one babe, and she already, you know, if you're going to keep it on the real.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying all these ladies, don't call on to the podcast talking.
Nah, definitely call up.
Okay. don't go too hard on me.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, when you got those 2, when you putting 2 brothers, pitting them against one another, instead of letting them work together to raise this child, if you're going to be in a household with this lady and she got a man child there, it should be your main responsibility to make sure that man child is being raised properly and you staying in that man child's life, not just coming in and out.
But I think it goes past.
Yeah, coming in and in for the mama.
I think it go past that though. Cause I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be completely honest. So we stayed in Pleasant Grove on up to I was probably about like 18. When I went to college, they had moved. But growing up there, I didn't really get in nowhere. I'm looking and I'm seeing we had a lot of Hispanics on our block.
Mm-hmm.
Hispanic, we probably had like 1 or 2 white people. But we seeing full families of Hispanics stay together and they buy up the whole block. You turn the corner, Hispanic. Man, it's like 2-3 different families to one household. You see 8 cars in the driveway and they all pitching in on one spot, you know? And then even growing up now, like we spoke about it last time, like when I buy something to protect myself and my family, I'm not thinking, oh, I'm protecting it from a white person or even a Mexican. And for that point, I'm protecting myself from like, damn, I hope one of these niggas don't come here and try to start none. And then even going to the fair. So I don't know how the fair was or if it was around y'all time, but like when I was in high school, 2012, 2011, 2010, you couldn't go to the fair on high school night because you had to be with whoever your little clique was, whether this actual little crew or your high school. So it's like, somewhere the disconnect between black men, and not saying that we always get along, but there was a disconnect somewhere. Even looking to the point of even with the gangs.
I tell you
Bloods
what
versus
disconnect
Crips.
came in at. Like your dad said, we didn't have the issue. We worked together.
Mm-hmm.
Now we didn't just squabble like that. I mean, we used to go to cafes and clubs. You know, I don't think we get squabble behind maybe some girl or something, but
Like you said,
but you know, we wasn't at each other like that. But the disconnect came in. I mean, go back to the mid '80s when the drug culture came in, that was dropped in on our community. Once it turned violent, that just really took our men's out the house.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of our men's incarcerated, killed, put on paper, parole, probation. So we was really done a number on. Now, did we have a choice? A person can always say, yeah, you have a choice. But go back early to what your dad said. It started in the late 60s and early 70s when they divide and conquer. When they gave our women housing and we was on the corner. We literally had nowhere to go. To mama house or somebody's house, because if we got a woman we can't live with. Yeah. So you go get a job, you're gonna get denied. That's where they talk about the racism come in at. You got the same.
That's why people back then, you get a job, I'm staying on it.
Yeah, stand on the job. That's why your dad was proving, look, I got something to prove. Y'all can't run me off. Both of these men said the same thing. I experienced it, but so you get a job, you don't leave that job because you know how hard it is to get a job. Yeah. And now your woman don't have to be on welfare. You can provide a livelihood for your women and children, and we still had the same issues that anybody else had. We might not stay with the same woman, you know, we if that was the case. But with that being said, that didn't make us bad people. Because they do it, everybody does that, you know. But the thing of it is, once that domino effect begins, we outside, then what we resort to with a liquor store right there, we're going to go get a bottle of wine. You know what I'm saying?
Liquor store in every black
I'm saying to pass the time. Then we out there talking to each other amongst one another.
Cool cigarettes.
Yeah.
So what do y'all feel like is to close it out, to bring it home?
Okay.
What do y'all feel like is some advice y'all can give a generation to help or advise us to turn around our situations financially, as a culture, as a black community? Because obviously back then we had stuff like we had Black Wall Street. We don't have that no more. So what
Black
are some things?
store.
We had Black grocery store, Black everything.
When I came to Dallas, it was totally. I mean, these men know it was Black gas stations, the whole nine. Anything anybody else had.
So what's some advice that y'all can give?
I think because we got so many blacks now with money. I'm not talking about, okay, I got a little bank account. I'm talking about wealthy and rich.
Yes.
We need to, our communities need to be the way the whites, the Jewish, and the Mexicans. We have never been that way. We've always been, nobody wanted to go together because everybody wanted more than the other.
Than the next, yeah.
We and they still talk about it. You hear some of our leaders now saying what we need to do with our power and our dollars and our monies. That's our voice. But for some reason, it's still not connecting with somebody because it's still not there.
Well, that's systematic. Like this building, somebody own this building.
Right.
We don't own it.
Right.
We need shopping centers. We need commercial property.
Right.
The only way we're going to get that, we got to get the money from the bank. All our people with that kind of money got to come back and invest in our communities. And like what you're saying, they're not doing that for various reasons. Because if I'm your agent and I'm your broker, I'm sending you north. I ain't sending you east, south, or west. I'm sending you hey, the money's out here overseas. You forget all about where you come from at that point. That's why you don't see that. But to answer to your question, first of all, we need prayer. You young men need to seek after the men that's around you in your life. Give us the opportunity, the invites to come in and join you, and let us invite,
Other men. Yeah.
other men, and open up with prayer, regardless to what you do after that. At least open up with prayer, and we don't have to be so divided on what somebody believe, But with that being said, that opens the door for us to have a neutral ground to come in and start to dissolve some of all these stigmas and emotions that we carry. Because us as men, we do carry emotion, and they want to make that a bad thing now, saying you in your feelings, emotion. That's not bad. We have emotions.
Not to cut y'all miss, but I don't think it. I'm gonna let y'all cook, but I don't think it's the emotions or the feelings. I think it's not knowing what to do with those emotions.
Okay.
Because I think when they're young, especially like you said, they don't have a father in their household in their life to say like, hey, it's okay to be angry. It's normal. It's okay to feel like this. This life is part of life. It's okay to be frustrated. That's what happens when you're doing A, B, C, and D. But they feel it and they don't know what to do. They don't have a man to show them like, hey, that's normal, bro. So they full emotion. They mama can't really tell them because the mama don't know what's going on. And they full emotion, and then that's when they go out there, they crash out, they do A, B, C, and D. What you got?
We were talking at this discussion the other day. Growing up, and it's just me, Mr. LeGrone. Seemed like everybody had a male in their family, whether they drank, smoke.
See, they don't look at
whatever they did. That male figure was was
right.
present in that household. Okay, and so you have to get back to basics. The man is the head of the house. The woman got to follow. God is the head of the man. Okay, once we stay with that, stay in that structure right there, and try not to get away from that too far. You see what I'm saying? Because you got people coming in with divorce. It's when you marry, that's for till death do you part.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you got to learn how to navigate through those emotions that you go through, because the enemy gonna throw stumbling blocks at you anyway. This here is the straight and narrow right here. This thing right here is a stumbling block from this straight and narrow. You can see this line is broke right here. So now we have to figure out how to go navigate ourselves around that line. But all at the same time, you got people that's trying to keep you from doing it. You got the enemy trying to prevent you in your. See, marriage is ordained, and the devil don't like that, period, because God is married to the church. So whenever you married, you asking for more problems on top of problems. So you have to, once you start from the beginning and understand what you up against, the battle that you up against, then it's a lot easier for you and your family to navigate that. But if you got somebody that don't understand what's really happening to them, the woman is over here, she wants to control. The man over here, he know he's supposed to have control, but he's giving in to this woman. How many of us have gave in to our woman to satisfy him? And come to find out, man, they ain't even whine that no more. They don't put the man, you know what I mean? You don't spend $1,000 and it ain't they wanted it so bad but you got it for them. You didn't really want to get it for them, but you got it to satisfy them, to please them. And then you still sitting over there collecting dust or something like that there, you know, but you still remember the feeling that they had when they had it.
Yeah.
You know, you see what I'm saying? So all of those things are important. The emotions that we have to deal with as far as dealing with a woman. A lot of dudes ain't ready to deal with they female emotion.
Yeah.
And a lot of women ain't ready to deal with the men's want to be respected, because that's what we are. We want respect more than anything.
That's for real.
Well, that's good, man.
Hey man, listen, first of all, we about to close it out, man, but I just want to say, you know, thank y'all for coming on.
Yeah.
This has been, man, we got to bring y'all back.
Yeah,
this has been a
we
good
gotta do it,
conversation,
part two,
because it's still stuff that we didn't touch on, like rap music, relationships, love,
How important
emotions,
is marriage?
you know, marriage. So we definitely gonna bring y'all back for part 2. And a part 3, like
because you can't talk about life in 30 minutes.
You can't. And great part is it's really been like an hour and a half. Y'all know,
Don't like that long.
Man. But
sure.
listen, man. So, hey, we about to close it out. This has been another great episode of Can I Be Real? Man, we had a great show today. But one thing I want to leave y'all with, man, and that's something that you said when you closed it out, man. It's God, it's the man, and then it's the woman. Let's get back to the basics.
And the family.
And the family. And the family.
Kids are falling in place.
The kids are falling in place, man. They're
I
falling in
think
line.
that you get the basics right, everything else is going to work.
It's going to work. So, look, I just want, you said something. You said we want to open it with a prayer, no matter what you do after that. And we didn't open it with a prayer. So, if you can, close us with a prayer.
All right. We'll do that.
It's our idea.
Hey, you with me, bro? Hey, say, bro. I love it.
I love it.
I love it, man. Say, man.
Okay.
Hey, I ain't the only one love it either.
I was the only one had fish. I see you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get it.
Let's bow heads. Most gracious, kind Father in heaven, we thank you for this opportunity to come together as men. Father, we just thank you for allowing us to be light in this world. Father, we thank you for each and every man in this room. Father, we ask that you would just add more with different perspectives, Father, with greater wisdom. Father, we just thank you for it. Father, we know that you are the author and finisher of our faith. We know that you will lead and guide us. Father, we ask that you would bless these young men and their endeavor.
Thank you,
Father,
Lord.
bless
Please,
them and let
Lord.
their light shine, Father, to other young men and those that they may reach. Father, bless them tremendously. We leave a blessing upon them and in this place,
In the name of
on this
Jesus.
podcast. Father, in your precious Son's name we
In the
pray.
name of Jesus.
Amen.
Amen.
I'll be real.
And I'll be
Yeah,
real.
be
Great
real,
way to
man. This
end
is
it.
us. Let me put it back on.
We
Hey,
appreciate y'all. That was good.
DOB, love y'all, man.
Like